Welcome back to another episode of the MacGyver Institute of Ninja Technology. Today I'm going to show you how to test and repair guitar amp cables. So let's get started. Alright, the best tool you can use for testing these cables is a digital multimeter. Now you can use a nice version like this or a $3 version from Harbor Freight. It really makes no difference. They'll do the same thing when fixing guitar cables. So you want to set your meter to ohms mode. As you can see, this horseshoe symbol, that stands for ohms, and it's also referred to as resistance mode. So I'm going to put this down and show you how resistance mode or ohms mode actually works. So as you can see right now, the screen reads OL, which means overload, meaning that you do not have a good connection, and it would take an overloaded amount of electricity to overcome this connection, imagining these two pins were supposed to be connected. So as you can see, when we touch the two pins together, we get a reading of 0.16 ohms. And that's a very small amount of resistance, meaning that there's not a lot of resistance in the wire, and it only takes a small amount of electricity to push through that connection. Now we'll go ahead and put it on beep mode so that we can hear this. And as you can see, my meter in beep mode, when I make a connection, it makes the beeping sound. If I don't hear the beep, that means that I do not have a good connection. So when looking at these guitar cables, you can see here, you've got this portion of the cable that has a wire attached to it on the inside, and then you have the tip that also has a wire connected to it through your cable. So we'll go ahead and touch our meter ends to each one of these parts and see which one has the bad connection. So hopefully you guys can see this good. Now it doesn't matter, the black or the red does not matter which side. So we'll go ahead and just touch the tips, and we get no sound there. That means we do not have a connection on those wires. Now we'll test the other part of the sleeve, and that means that wire is connected. So when we take this cable apart, we're going to have a broken connection to the center lead on these cables, as you can see. Now a good cable, when you test it out, should sound, you should get the beep every time you touch the similar parts, and you should also get a reading in ohms, generally a small one, 0.10 to 0.25. Now without the beep, you would just simply get an ohms reading. Now if you see any other number other than overload, that means you have a connection. And if you see a real huge number, like let's say instead of 0.25 you had 25.25, in this cable that means that you've got a broken connection and it's taking a lot of power to overcome it. So we'll go ahead and take apart this broken cable and show you what's wrong with it. Okay, these guitar cables are pretty easy. You can just unscrew the cover here, and then it will expose all of these wires. Try to make sure you guys can see that. And so we'll go ahead and inspect it and make sure that we don't have anything broken. Now I can already see it. As you can see, this wire right here is not connected where it needs to be connected. So we'll go ahead and solder that, and it should be much better. But first we should unscrew this side too and make sure that we don't have a broken connection there as well. Now these look poorly done from the factory, which a lot of them are, but very easy to fix. So this one is connected, although it doesn't look great. So we'll go ahead and solder this side, and then we'll retest it and see how she works. Okay, we're going to go ahead and solder this broken connection now and get this cable fixed. Just to let you know, this center pin here on the cable connector is for the tip, and then there's an outer prong on the connector, and that's for the outer sheath of the connector. So we'll go ahead and put a little solder on our soldering iron here, and go ahead and just simply heat this up. I'll do this where you can see it. Just heat it up here. Add a little extra solder to it. Go ahead and hold that cable down on there good. And now it's soldered. And that cable should be good. That'll save you about, $20 or so if you got to buy new cables. I'm going to go ahead and put the cover back on it. We'll retest it and confirm that it is in fact fixed. Let's see if I can zoom in for you here on, nope, that's not going to work. Okay, we'll put the cable on, get it tested, and see what happens. All right, let's test it. All right, we've got our meter back on in ohms mode, set to beep when we've got a good connection. I'm going to sit down here and we'll go ahead and test it and see if it works. If we hear a good solid beep on each post, then we know we've fixed it. All right, that was the one that was broken and the old part that was not broken. So now we have a perfectly good cable. Used to be broken and trash, now it's as good as it was from the factory. Hope that helps you guys.